newscast in true high definition, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 6 p.m.
It'd be excellent to be able to test those people and see how safe they are to return to their sport.
If players are injured tonight, they can get diagnosis and treatment tomorrow. Details of a new clinic geared towards student athletes. Welcome to News 12 at 6. I'm Maureen Kane.
And I'm Scott McClendon. Parts of Texoma got a good soaking last night and right into this afternoon, and that could make for some soggy football fields tonight. But before you head out the door, Steve Lenore tells us if we can expect more rain at the game. Steve?
Well, Scott, there's a threat of rain mainly in the southeastern portion of Texoma. The rain is diminishing with time. We had this batch of showers from just south of Sherman on toward Bonham and Paris. Very light rain here. This has been shrinking hour by hour, and right now we're seeing nothing back to the northwest. Ardmore, Durant, Ada. Looks like anything more than a few sprinkles is gone for you. Check it out on Storm Track Composite Doppler in motion. You can see how the area of rain has been shrinking and moving to the southeast at the same time. Now, we got some good rains out there. There will be some muddy fields, Bonham, Hugo, Gainesville, some big-time rainfall. Paris, nearly 2 inches of rain. Not so much in Oklahoma here, southeast Oklahoma, only about a quarter inch for Tishomingo and Ada. Here's your Friday night blitz forecast. Breezy, kind of cool. 70 at kickoff, 66 by the end of the game, and a 40% chance of rain, southeastern part of Texoma only. Your weekend numbers when I come back.
Well, rain or shine, there's sure to be some great plays and some big hits at tonight's football games. And sometimes those hits end in injuries.
But thanks to a new TMC doctor, players who do get banged up on Friday nights can now seek immediate medical treatment so they can get back on the field as soon as possible. Stephen Powell has the story.
It's Friday nights. Fans pack the stadium to watch their team compete on the gridiron.
It's a fun sport, and a lot of people like to play it. But you know, you gotta be careful out there.
But now, players who do suffer injuries on Friday night can quickly get treatment. Dr. Benjamin Wilson is starting a new Saturday morning orthopedic clinic at TMC, geared specifically towards sports injuries.
If they need x-rays, we can get it done, and occasionally if they need MRI, we can maybe get that done on a Saturday. We have casting material, splinting, everything, you know, we have braces, whatever they need.
He says the faster players get treatment, the less chance the injury will sack their season.
And if they need to put somebody else in their place because they can't play for a couple of weeks, they need to know that answer pretty quick.
And TMC is also taking steps to ensure the long-term well-being of local high school players.
Well, we utilize the Biodex balance system for concussion management.
The hospital partners with schools to screen players before the season starts.
If we have some concussions, that they're free to bring their athletes back into the clinic, and we can test them to see how they have recovered from their injury.
He says a lot of players just want to shake it off, which can be dangerous in the long run.
This takes away that, you know, subjective component of it. We can objectively say, yes, they are safe to return, and yes or no, they're not, based on our clinical guidelines.
Usually you do see more injuries at the beginning of the season.
Dr. Wilson says his clinic is open every Saturday morning from 8 to 10:30 in the Medical Plaza building. Players of any sport are welcome. In Denison, Stephen Powell, News 12.
A third suspect is now in custody for the September 8th beating death of Alberto Gonzalez. Sergeant Belva McClinton says they arrested 38-year-old Damon Johnson on Wednesday night in Gainesville. Gonzalez was found dead on September 8th at a home he was remodeling off Taylor Street. 30-year-old Fabian Cervantes and 38-year-old Marcy Hunt were arrested earlier this week in Gonzalez's murder. All three remain in the Cook County Jail.
3 years to the day after 3 people were found dead in a burning home west of Sherman, friends and family gathered to remember them and plead for the public's help to find their killer. Dozens of balloons were released into the air over Cedar Lawn Cemetery in Sherman this afternoon, where Larry Ballou's 2 daughters, Misty and Cassandra, are buried. Authorities say on September 20th, 2010, the women, along with their friend Brian Ritchie, were shot several times. Cassandra, who was pregnant, was also stabbed. To this day, no arrests have been made, and tonight we'll hear from Larry Ballou about life without his girls and why he thinks not enough is being done to find their killer.
A school principal and assistant principal allegedly attacked by 3 students today. Pontotoc County Sheriff John Christian says 3 kids assaulted another student around noon at the junior high, and when the assistant principal and principal tried to break it up, the 3 kids turned on them. Christian says the students ran off and the schools were put on lockdown while authorities searched for them. The students were found around 2 p.m. and arrested.
The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has affirmed a felony conviction for a Fannin County man who possessed large quantities of ecstasy. Vaughn Ray Bell was sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2010. At his jury trial, Judge Lori Blake ordered Bell to be placed in shackles, which he says took away his right to a fair trial by depriving him of the presumption of innocence. This week, the appeals court said Judge Blake erred in shackling Bell, but since the jurors could not see the shackles, the felony conviction stands. Bell's attorney says they plan to further appeal to the state Supreme Court and the U.S. District Court. Coming up on News 12 at 6, one of Texoma's largest festivals kicks off today with a full slate of events planned for the weekend, a preview of what you'll find at the Sherman Arts Fest later in the show.
And high school football's back. We go over some of the big games, including Ada versus Durant. That's later in sports.
You're watching News 12 at 6 p.m. with Scott McClendon, Maureen Kane, sports with David Reed, and from the Weather Authority, here's Steve Lenore.
Some welcome rainfall on this Friday, September 20th, and the rain wrapping up just in time for what promises to be a fantastic weekend weather-wise. Now, this is our Tanglewood Tower cam, and you can see that we just have a couple of droplets on the lens. Now we're seeing the rain gradually ending from north to south, so looking off the northwest, you actually see a little bit of lightning in the sky, not electric lightning, but lightening. It's getting less dark, and that's nice to see that. This image brought to you by our friends at Glen Polk Autoplex and Supercenter in Gainesville. Check it out on Doppler 12 Live. You can see the rain area has been shrinking even since I joined you last hour. Now from about Howe over to northern Fannin County around Telephone, on over to around Paris and back down toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We have this little area of light rain. It's been shrinking and slowly moving to the east. Nothing showing back up to the northwest, but the ground clutter around our radar site. So it looks like still chances of sprinkles or light rain this evening, especially east of Sherman, but hour by hour, the chances for you to get rain are diminishing. Let's go to the maps and take a look at the fishing game forecast for your Saturday. And we're looking at some really fantastic conditions there with the excellent indicated overnight. And again, just into the excellent range about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Look at these numbers today. 74 Sherman and Denison. Now, yesterday was 93. And Ardmore, you were 92 yesterday, topping out at 73 today. What a nice cool down with the rain and the clouds. And just 2 days left to the official start of fall on Sunday. So I think the weather's going to be cooperating with that the way it looks now. This hour, 68 degrees in Ada, north-northeasterly breeze about 15 to 20. It's almost a little bit cool out there this evening. It's still very humid. We have a moist atmosphere in place, but gradually drier and drier air will filter in from northeast Oklahoma overnight. And that, along with clearing skies, will allow many of us to get down to upper 50s to lower 60s on your Saturday morning. Let's go over those rainfall totals once again. For the most part, it came together like we thought, but for you watching from Ada, Ardmore, Tishomingo, a little on the low side for what we hoped you might get there. About a 1/4 inch. Tish, Ardmore, 3/10, but then Paris, nearly 2 inches. Sherman with a good soaking at 1 inch. Gainesville, 1.5 inches of rain, bottom of 1 inch. That was all right in the zone, but again, coming in just a little disappointing here in southern Oklahoma with 1/3 of 1 inch from Medill. Atoka, you did pretty well, though, with 1 inch of rain. Now, here's how it looks on the big picture on the SAT-RAD. We're seeing the whole pattern shift off to the east as the upper level winds begin to come out of the northwest. That'll push this stuff out even more. And the upper level trough we've talked about is right here. It extends from a low in Minnesota all the way down to northwest Texas. Ahead of the trough, rising motion, lots of clouds and showers. Behind the trough, a sinking motion and dry air. So we got dry air coming in overnight, skies clearing, winds at the surface of the north and northeast. Good formula for a cool night coming up, and the high pressure will build in from the northwest over the next several days, keeping that wind out of the northeast and allowing us to have cool nights and kind of warmish days. Some of the nicest weather we've had in a long time, though, coming up this weekend. It'll beat last weekend for sure as far as comfort. Now, overnight, the rain chance drops out pretty fast here, just 30% for the next couple of hours. Then we sink on down into the 50s. Skies begin to clear overnight, and tomorrow should be a day with a lot of sunshine. And even by 10 a.m., instead of 85 or 90 like you've seen recently, Temperatures will still be in the 60s through mid-morning, very comfortable. So a little chilly in the morning, actually, for some of you if you're not really prone to enjoying cool weather. We're going to be down in the 50s, maybe a light jacket with a bit of a breeze out of the northeast. Mostly sunny skies. Definitely open your windows special coming up overnight tonight and into a really nice start to your Saturday morning. So 58 Sherman, Denison, and 55 in Durant. Then in the afternoon tomorrow, the wind stays out of the northeast. Gets a little breezy, about 10 to 20, and we go pretty much with wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow in the afternoon. We'll range about 81 to 85 degrees. You can see Ada with one of the cooler spots there at 81, and we're going to do about an 85-degree reading in Ardmore back to Nakona. Now, the reason I have it warmer in Ardmore than in Gainesville, you got a good soaking here. That tends to cut down on the heating just a little bit, so we're doing the best we can with that. Here you can see 82 degrees, the average high temperature tomorrow. Just plain old nice as we go through the weekend, and there's nothing wrong with plain old nice. Is there?
No, absolutely nothing wrong. Perfect for the weekend festivals, everything going on this weekend.
We were really fortunate the way the timing came together this time.
All right, thanks, Steve.
The 31st Annual Sherman Arts Festival kicked off today at the Municipal Building.
That's right. They're going to have beautiful weather this weekend. More than 100 vendors, including local restaurants, shops, and other businesses, will set up downtown. There will also be live music, a pumpkin patch, a concert, and a T-shirt painting for the kids. Today, wood carvers like Cal Stewart began displaying their work. Stewart says he's been carving this kind of art for 37 years, and the festival is an opportunity for artists of all ages and skill levels to show off their talents.
Whatever they want, whatever theirs. We have people who carve just caricatures. We have people here who carve on bark. People who carve on gourds like I do, or burn on gourds, wood burnings. It's all kinds. You just name it there. If it could be carved in wood, they do it.
Now, tomorrow's activities start with a pancake breakfast at 7 a.m. A 5 and 10K race will follow at 8 a.m. I'll see you down there for that. And the festival is free to the public and open until 5 tomorrow evening. I tried to rope Scott into it. I think it was just too early for him.
It's too early. I'm going to admire the art, though, tomorrow for sure. Coming up on News 12 at 6, an Ardmore police officer rewarded for his years of service.
And we'll introduce you to an award-winning sculptor who lives in Carter County. The Good Shepherd Community Clinic hosted their second annual Red River Art Show back in August. Now they've chosen a winner.
Helen Headley caught up with the artist who took home the trophy and shares the story behind his prized work.
Kind of symmetrical, but after I made it, it needed a little more character, so I came back and cut the cracks in it and called it Nothing's Perfect.
Jimmy Dodson is talking about his piece of art that won the Best in Show at the Red River Art Show, an event put on by the Good Shepherd Community Clinic to raise needed money.
And that covers everything from electricity for the clinic to, supplies and equipment.
He never expected the judges to call his name.
They had a award ceremony, and yeah, I was surprised, but certainly honored that they picked my piece.
Nothing's Perfect is a welded metal wall sculpture, representative of his other work, like his permanent piece in the Goddard Center's Sculpture Garden. Dodson's work is known all over Ardmore, from the Goddard Center to the Convention Center. There he has 5 pieces hanging on the walls. He's lived off his metal creations for 10 years, a style inspired by his childhood.
I was a poor boy. I had to make art out of whatever I could find on the farm, and it just kind of worked, so I stuck with it.
And it's paid off. Dodson took home a trophy and $1,200 in cash. But money isn't the reason he creates.
Yeah, I just enjoy it. It's my passion, and it's just a great lifestyle.
In Ardmore, Helen Headley, News 12.
An 18-year veteran of the Ardmore Police Department is moving up in the ranks.
We're going to promote Corporal G to Sergeant G.
Acting Chief Kevin Norris promoted Audie G during a reception at City Hall today. Before G's promotion, he had been a corporal with the department for 3 years. He's looking forward to being a supervisor in the patrol division and mentoring new officers. G says it's an honor to be promoted.
Very pleased to be promoted to the rank of sergeant, and hopefully I can.
G starts his new duties as sergeant tomorrow. No risk there, no rest there, I guess. But
no rest for the weary.
No rest for the weary. That's right. No rest for football players out there tonight. They're getting after it on some wet fields.
Yeah, make for some soft landings out there. I guess that's the bright side. Coming up next in sports, we're talking Friday night football. The Whitesboro Bearcats head over to Bonham to battle the Warriors, and the Durant Lions opening their doors for the Ada Cougars. We'll preview the big games next.
Now, your award-winning local sports coverage. Here's David Reed.
Well, it could be a soggy night of high school football around the area, but there are some great games to talk about. Let's start in Durant, where the Lions have the home field against Ada. Taylor Williamson is out at Paul Laird Field tonight.
Thanks a lot, David. Well, you're right. It is a wet one up here in Durant, but that shouldn't keep fans away from what should be a great game. Durant and Ada both looking for their second win this evening. For more on that, I'm joined by Durant head coach Byron Cordell. Coach, what are you expected to see out of the Ada Cougars tonight?
A very hard-nosed team. They want to establish a ground game, and, you know, if it's one of those things, they want to find out how tough you are.
What do you think you guys have to do to win this evening?
Well, offensively, we got to move the ball better than we did last week against Ardmore. We can't turn the ball over. Defensively, we've got to keep playing like our hair's on fire and get there with a real bad attitude.
Obviously, you know, you guys got a huge win against Ardmore last week. What would a win against Ada mean tonight?
Oh, it'd be huge. You know, this would be the fourth time in 100 years of Durant football that we were fortunate enough to beat Ada and Ardmore in the same year. So that's something we talked to our kids about this week, a chance to make a little bit of history.
Yeah, that'd be a night worth remembering, Coach. Thank you so much. Good luck this evening. That's Durant head coach Byron Cordell. This game kicks off here in just about an hour. Later on, of course, I'll have highlights on the Blitz and Max Blitz. Reporting live at Paul Laird Field in Durant, I'm Taylor Williamson. Back to you, David.
All right, Taylor, thanks a lot. You know, Sherman and Denison both have the bye this week, but there are still a lot of great games going on in the area. Ardmore will host Prime Prep Academy. Of course, that's Deion Sanders' big school down in Dallas. It's the Kraut Bowl in Munster. The Hornets bringing Lindsay into town for their annual showdown. Tishomingo will host the Dixon Comets tonight. That ought to be a good one. Gunner at home against Howell. Ringling, the state champs, going to Marietta. Paris will host Sulphur Springs. Wilson at Kingston. Pottsboro will play at Anna. And, of course, coming up tonight, at 10:20, it's the Friday Night Blitz. All your scores and highlights. Then over on Fox at 11, it's the Max Blitz. Be sure and tune in for both shows starting tonight at 10:20 right here on CBS 12. Another good matchup is going down in Bonham, where the Warriors welcome the Whitesboro Bearcats to town. Benjamin Nahar live on Warpath Street with this one tonight.
Yeah, that's right, David. It's going to be a good one here in Bonham as the Warriors host the Whitesboro Bearcats. Both schools are 2-1. It's sure to be a good one. It's also homecoming night for the Bonham Purple Warriors. Now, joining me to talk about tonight's matchup, Coach, pretty wet conditions you were talking about earlier. What you think about this?
Well, it is what it is. I mean, you know, it's not really in our favor. They're big and strong, and they're just going to run right at us. But that's fine. We just got to go play. And I told the kids, if you can't have fun playing in the mud, then you know what? You probably don't need to be playing.
Your team having a great start to the season, 2-1. You got your first loss last week. You were telling me earlier in the week about the loss. How do you expect your team to respond tonight?
I think we're going to respond good. We, you know, had a good week of practice. The kids seemed focused. Got back to work. Put in a few longer hours probably than they probably wanted to. But I thought it was important for us to kind of get back to work and get our mind right. And I think they did that.
How do you see your team performing tonight playing against Whitesboro? You played them last year. You know how that one turned out. Playing a physical team like Whitesboro with that line. How do you think your team's going to do?
Well, I think they're going to do good. I think that we're going to play hard. We're going to play 4 quarters, and I think at the end of the night, the best team will win. And like I said, they're a great football team, and Coach Gill does a great job. But we feel like if we can do the little things and not turn the ball over and make stupid penalties like we have and kind of eliminate some of that stuff, we got a chance.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Bonham Purple Warriors trying to improve to 3-1. Last time Coach Cody Bounds started a coaching career at 3-1 was the last he was in Lindsay. That was in 2010. So a little factual knowledge your way, David.
Factual knowledge
from Ben Nahar. How about that?
And you know, Byron Cordell's got a point. We should all play like our hair's on fire.
That's right.
Always.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you got the wet conditions tonight, so it should be interesting matchups all across Texoma on a wet track.
Yeah, and our reporters didn't have the umbrellas over their heads, so far so good, I guess.
They're macho.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Debbie.
Stay with us. We'll check that forecast when we come back.
And right now you can see on the SAT-RAD the rain is winding down from Bonham Paris eastward, still some showers, but Texoma is going to be drying out tonight and really having a beautiful weekend to bring in fall and Sunday. Look at that, 50s and 80s. What else can I say?
Couldn't have planned it better. Thanks, Steve.
Have a great night. See you at 10.